Welcome to the exclusive interview with Ghanaian actor and director Chris Attoh.
Hello. This is my boyfriend. Come on, say something.
What are you doing?
How was growing up for you?
I had pretty much an amazing, upbringing. I think I had a combination of the right things. We didn't grow up extremely wealthy, but I've always been a part of royalty. My dad's a chief, so I think we grew up, well, with everything we needed, but at the end of the day, with the discipline and the lessons that came with it. I know how you feel about your seafood.
You are from a royal family. Why aren't you into politics?
Why didn't I go into politics? Let's say it's not too late. Anything can happen.
Hey baby, I was just getting ready. I didn't want to keep you.
Who are your favorite designers and how would you describe your style?
I always say that the clothes, don't make you, you make the clothes. When it comes to some favorite designers, I would always go for Maya Attoh. You can't go wrong with that. Or, Ouch is also pretty amazing. One way or the other, I think it's you and what you put together.
I only have
Tell us about your educational journey.
Well, I had my basic education, foundations in Ghana. I did my secondary school both in Ghana and then I continued in the UK. I did my first degree in painting. Most people don't believe that, But yeah, my first degree involved a lot of paint and a lot of messiness, But from there, I branched into film. New York Film Academy is where I had my directing background. Also, as a trained actor, I've had the privilege of picking up and learning from many seminars around the world. Finally, I've just recently finished a directing course and an editing course again in New York. So far so good, but I do believe education is the key. You need to keep adding to yourself. It's important.
You really need to stop wasting your time gossiping with this Sophie girl.
Your first degree was in painting. Do you still paint?
I'm actually very excited about that because I've always said that when I'm less busy, one way or the other, I will start painting again. So this year, I'm actually going to be exhibiting, some of my work by the end of the year. So, you heard it here first. Let's see what happens.
Are you alright?
You started out as a radio and TV presenter. How was that for you?
I think that it's truly important to always remember your beginnings. And starting out in radio, I think gave me my very first disciplines, one way or the other, both radio and television. Being on time, being interested in the story. The doctor says that everything is going to be all right.
How did you transition into acting and why?
For me, for someone who had been surrounded by a lot of entertainers when I was young, one way or the other, the world of radio and television had to expand for me. And my interest had always been in filmmaking and directing, and it's even the reason why I decided, okay, let me try acting, just to get a better grasp of what this world was about. And, I'm happy to at least also say that I've just begun directing. You can watch a Chris Attoh film soon. It's like a huge world out there, and there's so much to reach out for. Sometimes I feel that there isn't enough time.
Thank you, doctor.
Do you see yourself leaving acting for directing?
I think that I would always be able to share both platforms also because you're in the same world one way or the other, So I think audiences and fans will be able to see a bit of my directing as well as a bit of my acting one way or the other. Do you ever try something like that again?
What do you look out for before accepting a movie or soap opera role?
I've often said that, one way or the other, every great actor is looking for a good story. You want to be a part of a good story. So it's something that you look out for when you're looking for, a script or your next job or your next role. So it starts with a good story. a good production house, one way or the other, you're trusting them with your career. And something that I've learned very recently, and I would quote actor Adrian Brody on that, is one way or the other, the actor embodies the lives of other people, and it's whatever you're representing, whatever story you're telling, you need to remember that and be true to that. I don't think that we should let her get away with what she did to me.
What would you say your greatest passion is?
I think that my passion is whatever is burning at the time, and currently I'm definitely very passionate about directing more films and telling more stories as an actor. But when you're blessed with enough, you need to make sure that you're utilizing all of it as well. You don't want a situation where they ask you, "Oh, what did you do with this?" And at the end of the day you say, "Oh, I was too busy with that." To whom much is giving, much is expected.
What do you think I can get her? She's your mother.
What has been your greatest challenge in the industry?
The industry is challenging enough. I think that one of the biggest challenges that I'm facing currently as an actor is being able to tell the rest of the world beyond just an African field that there are great actors, in West Africa. There are great actors in Nigeria. There are great actors in Ghana and Cameroon that can shine also, all across the world. I think Lupita is a fine example of that, someone who started out on the show Sugar, and today, she is performing to a much bigger audience. I think that's the peak for every actor who wants to take this far.
You have a nice house.
Thank you.
Your role on Tinsel basically launched you into the Nigerian market. Tell us your experience.
I think that being launched into the Nigerian market brought a lot of re-education. One way or the other, it's also where I got a lot of my professional training as an actor, between Nigeria and South Africa. Tinsel was the very beginnings. It's also where we started out as a family. So it was a way of life. It was a lesson or two every day, and it was getting better at what we did.
But you must promise you would never do that for anyone else.
Why did you decide to leave Tinsel?
There is a time for everything, and to be able to achieve everything that you want to set out to do, you can't get stuck in one place. Imagine that, I got stuck on coloring books, then no one else would have been able to see other things or other aspects. So it's important to remember that, life is full of change, it's full of transition, and if it's getting better, then you're on the right path.
Mary, what's wrong with you?
Do you miss being on Tinsel?
Oh, I always get asked that. Of course, like I said, the days of Tinsel was like being with a family, so I definitely miss, everyone. I miss the set. But the reality is so many people have been on the show and also are doing their own things, it's been an amazing platform. Yes, I do miss it sometimes.
What did you say? Do they teach you nothing in that school that I pay for?
What would you say is your best memory from Tinsel?
My best memory from Tinsel would probably be the first day where we walked in and literally met the rest of the cast. The very first episodes had an all-star cast from Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, and we were announced as the Ghanaians. Oh yeah, here come the Ghanaians, and unfortunately we were late. But I would never remember, or rather I would never forget, all the faces that come to mind now, and the people that, I met on the first day and made like an impression on me throughout. What's going on here?
Mr. Kwe, we are here with a warrant for your arrest.
As one who has acted in Ghana and Nigeria, what relative differences or similarities do you see in both industries?
There are a lot of differences and a lot of similarities when it comes to the industry, Africa as a whole. But, when you're looking at Ghana, Nigeria, scale for one is something you can look at. Everything in Nigeria is done on a much larger scale. Ghana is a much smaller country, so that's definitely one thing, but again, it shines in its beauty, you know, because of that. There are advantages sometimes that you'll find in a Ghanaian film and then same thing in a Nigerian film. But I think all the same, mostly the similarities are you see two industries that are growing and trying to tell their stories and making the best pictures that they can.
Useless man.
Madam, after everything that I've done for your family.
You shuttle between Ghana and Nigeria a lot. Where do you consider home now?
You know, these days, it's hard to tell when it comes to wherever we consider home. I mean, we have a place in Ghana, a place in Nigeria, currently working on something in South Africa. And I mean, these are places where you end up working, you know, work calls out. And it's becoming a bigger platform, a bigger stage. So I think home is always obviously where my family is. You know, that's when I feel most at home, whether it's Ghana or Nigeria or the States or South Africa.
You can be so stupid.
What was the attraction when you first met your wife?
I think that, you know, when I first met my wife, you could tell that there was something special right from the very start. Aside all the wonderful things that Dami is, you know, I keep saying that she's an achiever. And that just keeps anyone going, you know, the kind of person that wants to make a difference in the world, you know. And I think I found that out right from day one. You know, that was definitely one of the large attractions.
Has anything happened to the phone?
Did you think she would be your wife?
I would definitely agree to, you know, love at first sight. But I probably didn't have any idea that that would be the woman that I would be, you know, privileged to spend the rest of my life with.
Well, then I'm sorry. I simply don't know where.
How is it like being married to someone from a different nationality?
It is, it's a beautiful thing. It's a constant reminder that, you know, as opposed to two worlds fighting against each other, looking at differences, similarities are more appreciable. Our union continues to inspire people both in Ghana and, you know, in Nigeria, and in fact, pretty much all over the world, all over the continent as well. I hope that the more it represents the union between, you know, two great nations or two great people, then yeah, we're on point.
See the guys over there? We kind of bet.
Does your difference in culture affect your marriage?
I believe that the differences in our culture as well as the similarities are what add to the spice, you know. They're the exact things that make the relationship interesting.
Describe your wife in one word.
Amazing.
I don't know who you are, and I'm not going to stand here.
What are those things she does that makes you fall in love with her over again?
Dami's fantastic in the kitchen. How she, you know, manages to keep working, to keep that fantastic body, to play mum when she has to. I mean, you have to be there to see it. Sometimes I think people need to actually see it to believe it.
Do you miss being single?
I believe there's a time for everything. And, you know, there was a time for being single. This is a time for growth, and I'm definitely enjoying every moment.
How has fatherhood been for you? Has it changed you in any way?
You know, just before I became a dad, I think that one of the things that a lot of people kept saying is you don't know what it's like until it happens. You know, it doesn't make a difference if anyone describes it. It's a pretty amazing feeling. You then get a full sense of true love and what true love represents, you know, when you're not expecting something back and it's all about giving. I think you experience that in marriage, but the child truly does make the difference. I think fatherhood is obviously something that, you know, the more you put in, the more you get out of.
When do you plan to have child number 2?
Well, we're working on it. I'll keep you posted.
You are in the same industry as your wife. How is that for you?
I think it's important to, you know, especially when you're choosing a life partner, you want to pick someone that you have a lot of similarities with, of course, some differences. But you know, when you have a partner who understands what you do, and when you have a partner who grows with you, there can be nothing as fulfilling. I've just directed my own film, which you can watch soon, and I got to direct my wife as an actress. I suppose it all comes together. You know, if you're looking to build an empire, then you might as well take people that you will need.
This is Chris Attoh!
How do you balance work life and being a family man?
I think I'm still learning to do the balancing thing. We just got back from a trip, and I said to myself that I'm not flying with my son until he is a little older. You know, but these are things that you experience, and these are things that make you enjoy the moment even more. I think it comes down to managing. That's how we're doing it. You know, like everything else, you manage.
Now that you're married, has the female attention reduced?
I'm constantly grateful to all my fans, you know, females, males. I think that, you know, individually, my fan base has definitely increased. You know, I'd like to think it's because of the work that I'm putting out there. One way or the other, I think that every fan that comes along has something to learn.
One for the money.
You ready?
Okay. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Yep.
Who are the people that have inspired you or given you a push in your career?
A lot of people have inspired me, you know, and continue to inspire me every single day. It could be the lady off the street asking for money. It could be at times my dad. But I mean, I'm definitely keen on mentioning a few authors. I mean, authors like Brian Tracy, Paulo Coelho. One way or the other, these are authors that have written books that I think that will help shape your life. You know, if you're going to read a book, then by all means, any day. I would have to mention people like AY. AY is a brother, a friend. We just got back from Jamaica shooting a film with Eric Roberts, and a huge team that AY's managed to put together, and I think people can look forward to seeing more of him as a producer, you know, and a filmmaker. And I think just as a brother and someone you look up to, he has been very instrumental in some of the steps that I've taken, especially since, you know, moving in here.
Guess what I found? Hidden in the bathroom.
Tell us about your latest projects.
2 projects that I think people enjoy watching this year. 2 films. Is one that's a mini-series. It should be showing soon on African Magic. It's called Jamestown. I had the privilege of producing alongside with African Magic. And one that I'm probably more excited about is called One More Day. You know, and you can find both trailers here. See if you can get a copy, and we'll show you what you think, you know, and then you tell us, because one way or the other, I think that I'm going to be doing more directing.
Technically, he is mine. I had it first.
What words do you have for your fans?
So a lot of people ask me how I got to where I am now, and as much as I think that I'm not even there at my peak, you know, I constantly remind people that it doesn't happen, you know, by chance. You decide that this is what you want, and you go out there and you get it. And you know, I'm going to take the opportunity now to remind people that whatever you want desperately, you know, the universe as well as the powers that be have a way of fine-tuning it for you. So believe as much as you want and receive as much as you want. It's like there's no limit to it, you know. And once you know those words and you know those secrets, I think that they help. Don't give up.